And that is the end of the campaign.
Oh my god!
Like,
Oh my god.
let me read you something. It's gonna take you a little bit of time, but bear with me, okay? Okay, you ready? With the fall of the Black Citadel, Nerull and his dominion were pushed out of the mortal realm's history for the foreseeable future. Although the battle ended in cheer, Nerull and Larithian's worshippers knew that the wheel of change hadn't stopped turning. Nerull Larithian, having used up all his divine power to defeat Goro, no longer had the strength to continue his age. The age of Nerull Larithian came to an end in the winter of 110th year, CL 110. Thus, Pelor, the only deity with the strength to take his place, took on the task. The age of Pelor has begun. Father Elijah, having defected from the Sentinels of Dawn to fight in the siege of the Black Citadel, was chosen by Pelor to be his vessel. Being a devout follower, he graciously accepted. Knowing the importance of the influence Nerull Larithian had on the populace of Stormglade, he chose to change nothing politically or socially. Instead, he personally tours the kingdom with a select group of clerics bestowing blessings to the sick and the poor, spreading Pelor's influence through goodwill and generosity, and stopping only to enjoy large amounts of delicious food. Nerull's dominion left a lasting effect across the country's adversaries, though few still remained. Bloody Sarah's death led to the remaining Red Hand bandits almost completely dissolving, spare for a few loyalists. These loyalists continued to stalk the roads between Illuminoria and Sethany, giving trouble to travelers on some occasions. After the fall of the Black Citadel, the people of Stormglade grew to hate Nerull worshippers even more. Despite the Archlord's best wishes to try and accept them for their beliefs, his people sought out and executed a solid majority of the remaining followers. The stigma against the worshippers of the deity of evil and death continues to sweep across the country. Pelor's divine elixir cured Odile from her decaying lich form. With the weight of a lifetime of guilt, she threw herself at the mercy of the Stormglade Kingdom and its rulers to decide her fate. The Archlord, High Priest Don Jose, High Priestess Camille, and Father Elijah, the new vessel of Pelor, unanimously decided to leave her and her guilt to be judged by Pelor. As far as they were concerned, to the general public, who had not known Odile's true plight, Nerull's pet lich died in the Black Citadel. After being given this pardon, Odile chose to atone for her sins at the Temple of Pelor by tirelessly doing whatever her god asked of her, only taking breaks to spend time with her friends, Ducky, Lohengrin, and Siegfried. She is just as she was before, though greatly humbled. It took some time before Siegfried could bring himself to forgive Odile for everything she had done. His stubbornness clashed with Lohengrin's, and they threw themselves into a volatile fistfight. Lohengrin's words finally reached him despite the punches they threw at each other. You don't blame the puppet, you blame the puppet master. After that night, the friendship between the four was rekindled, more tentative, but stronger than before. They continued to keep each other close up to their hearts. Having paid for the siege of the Black Citadel almost exclusively from their own pockets, the Archlord and Archlady lost all but their main estate in Riverwatch. Over the following years, many wealthy and influential families tried to usurp their dominance over the kingdom, and even though all of these attempts failed, it took a heavy toll on both their lives. Eventually, the two of them had to take on an early retirement. However, they remained together and ultimately happy with one another. The Age of Pelor began, and so new endings and new beginnings arose across the country. With his newfound youth, Henry and Heaven parted ways. She left with Nanashi to start a war in Altamira, and Henry opened his alchemy shop. The two remain in contact as frequently as they can, and they both couldn't be happier with how their lives are panning out. Thanks to the heroes, Wash the small-town candy vendor was able to open up a massive enterprise and set up candy stores all across the kingdom. Over time, his original candy fell into obscurity due to lack of resources, but this didn't stop him from reopening his new line of very successful candies called Hero Bites, with flavors like Forte Fruities, Samurai Sweets, Marcus Munchies, and Ducky Dippers.
Give me a second.
After the Black Citadel fell, Varric left the Stormglade mainland and returned to Kirkwood to help out his family's restaurant. He found himself a cute lizardfolk waitress and is settling down comfortably, taking care of the fish and chips place by the docks. He's happy, except when his wife scolds him for his growing fondness of pints of absinthe. With the world in front of them, and Emeraldia behind them, Matthew and Elise kick-started a couple's traveling merchant caravan. The two of them and several other tradesmen travel the kingdom, setting up shop at any town that would let them. The two of them are living the rest of their days together, trying for a baby and quietly searching for a certain special unicorn, while visiting family, both blood and adopted. Also, their sundials are taking the kingdom by storm. After the siege of the Black Citadel, Sir Marcus rejoined with the Temple of Pelor, and lived the rest of his days in Pelor's service, atoning for his sins. His family continues to enjoy the wealth and prosperity in the wool industry, but he decided to remain with the church. Thanks to her leadership and support and care Honeymead provided for the people of Farquhar, she became the first lady to rule over the city of Stormblade history.
Yes.
The Ragnars's rejects dissolved under her influence, and many of them sought rehabilitation and ways to thank Farquhar for once again being able to accept them as people and not mindless criminals. For the first time in Farquhar's history, it wasn't known as a city of slums, but a city of new beginnings. He's going to be married soon, much to the surprise of many a man across the kingdom. In his home dimension, Luke, Ben, and Jerry's found a wife and had a son. Although he never saw his friends from the Stormblade Kingdom again, he misses them dearly, and gets a random sending message from Ducky every so often. Having his immortal body consumed by Nerull and Lerithian during the battle with Goro, Thos was finally able to pass on to the afterlife after years of youth and loneliness. Although nothing is for certain, his family and friends speculate that he is finally able to rest with all his dearest friends. To this day, many sing songs of the great Thos Weekblade and how he serves as a guiding star for what rangers and leaders should strive to be. Using his newfound title as hero, Musica tours the kingdom, spreading the love of music to all who would listen. It didn't take long before he was contacted by the Cats Theatre Troupe and was offered a position as a sideshow to their attraction. He accepted their offer and now travels the world spreading music and entertainment in honor of his wife. He also introduced the cats to the herbal refreshments that he had during the Obadhai Challenge. Musicians and bards across the kingdom continue to celebrate in the old man's success. Having received divine powers from Farlan, Edward repaid his deity by creating a temple of Farlan in the crossroads between Gallifrey, Veldra, and Leforion, a place where his weary travelers can lay their heads down to rest and worship the god of roads. His friends visit frequently, and the young lady by the name of Nani often drops by to share smiles and conversation. The temple is a success, and Edward's name travels with the winds to the far reaches of the kingdom. Ducky and Lohengrin's destiny finally came to a close when the Black Citadel fell, and while the kingdom slowly began to recover, they decided to marry and tour the kingdom, helping out where they can in the name of Pelor's new age, as well as spending time with Odile and Siegfried when they can get away from their duties. Ducky, unable to leave the kingdom to help Nanashi with his own adventure, gifted the Altamirian with Clank for protection and as a way to send her strength with him. Ducky and Lohengrin, accompanied by Lysander and Lohengrin's griffin, continued to protect, heal, and travel, taking their lives into their own hands and spreading goodness on their own terms. Heaven and Nanashi fight was far from over from the fall of the Black Citadel. The two took only a few days of celebration before departing for Altamira, bidding his comrades farewell and setting across the seas with Clank by their side. Nanashi's path was set before him, and he knew that his destiny was not over until he freed his people, the people he once enslaved. After the fall of the Black Citadel faded from existence, so did the Sentinels of Dawn. Vanishing into the pages of history, those who know of them know that they will reappear when history demands it. An adventure begins with a simple touch of destiny. They began, small and scattered, they struggled and thrived, lost and won, and they end, right where they began.
It's over.
Roll credit.
Congratulations. You beat the campaign.
Good ending.
You won D&D.
It's over.
Guys, it's 4:30 and it's almost 5 o'clock.
Over almost 7 hours.
It's over.
Oh my god. So, experience?
How much experience do we get from beating the game?